Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 50-50 Take It or Leave It podcast. You're probably wondering, why is Mitch doing the intro? Where's Matt? Where's Kyle? Well, they're not here. Matt's busy doing finals. Kyle left because he's done with finals. I have a full-time job, so I'm still here. And to not have just a one-person podcast with me tonight, I have Nick joining me again.
Hidely ho.
Welcome, Nick. I brought you on here for a couple different reasons tonight. One, so I'm not alone and sad like I normally am. Two,
That's really the only reason you ever call me, right?
Yeah, you're right. There's other reasons for tonight, though, believe it or not. We talk about the origins of Omni Entertainment. We talk about it when the first time we had you on, just for a brief second, and then we got into film talk, and we all love film talk. So.
Yeah, we realized we'd never actually talked about this, so we thought we should let you guys know how we got here.
Yeah, so we discussed the origins of Omni Entertainment, how we came to be with Nick as a co-producer and everything else. We also, in the second half, we dive into the Comic-Con that is Disney. Is that how we phrased it?
Yeah, it was Disney's Investor Day, a.k.a. Disney's Comic-Con.
I haven't looked into it too much. Nick did a little bit more research, but not as much as we both probably should have. We talk about Star Wars. We talk about Marvel and the future of where that's going. It's great conversation. So, yeah, let's jump into it. And I guess we should get right into it, Nick. We are going to talk about...
I just did a visual nod in agreement, not realizing that this was an audio thing.
Yeah.
That meant nothing to the viewer.
I meant something to me. It meant something to me. I'm glad you were like, yes, let's continue. But no, tonight we're a few people down, as I'm sure you know. Kyle,
it's winter break, man.
Yeah, finals are wrapping up here, and I have a full-time job, unfortunately, at the school that requires me to stay all the way through. So I'm still here, and Nick is just a madhouse in the studio. So
I live here, probably.
Yeah, you probably could get a bed and just not pay rent.
Dang it. Why didn't I think of that?
You should have.
I've been paying rent at a house for the past few months when I could have just put a couple chairs together here.
It would have been a little awkward when they would have done whatever shoots they do here for the college, but
that's true. They do record stuff here at 10 o'clock, and I usually sleep till 11, so that would have been interesting.
That's when you just go in the back office.
Oh, yeah.
Next to the whatever creepy stuff is back there. We never go back there. I don't want to know.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, tonight we are going to talk about the origins of our production company.
Omni Entertainment.
Omni Entertainment. Most of you, I would hope a lot of the podcasting, broadcasting, tech, I don't even know what else to call people.
Videographer, enthusiast.
Film, yeah. I hope you guys know what the term Omni means. Nick, do you want to explain to our audience, for those who don't know, which there's a lot of people that don't know a lot about film and video and all that jazz because it's a niche thing. You want to explain to them what Omni means and where we got the term from?
So, yeah, Omni Entertainment kind of derived from an omnidirectional mic, which is a microphone that kind of encompasses, it takes in a lot of audio. It makes it sound pretty, makes it sound good kind of thing.
Yep, its range is very...
it's all encompassing is kind of the thing we were looking at. And early on when we were trying to come up with a name, we kind of were thinking, well, what are we focusing on? Well, we kind of cover a lot of aspects of pop culture and video, and we... especially on this podcast, you guys cover it all. And we're like, well, you cover it all. An omnidirectional mic is all-encompassing. Mm-hmm. So Omni Entertainment kind of referred to this all-encompassing entertainment kind of...
production house.
Yeah, exactly. So we try to welcome all interests. We try to cover as many interests as we can a week. Mm-hmm. It looks kind of cool. I like the look of it. It's not very often you talk about the physical characteristics of a mic.
No, you don't.
But I like the look of it. It's just it's something that anyone can look at and be like, oh, that's a professional production kind of tool or aspect, really.
It has a very professional sound to it, even Omni Entertainment. You're like, wow, that's it has almost a sci-fi to it, but not quite. It's like, what is that? Like, I want to. That almost piques people's interest. They're like, what is that? I want to learn more about it. What do they do? What do they talk about? And that was the whole point of what we wanted in our name. We oh gosh, how long did we sit down and brainstorm this? We sat down for a solid 2-3 hours.
We sat down for a couple hours, and I think we took a break, and then we did another like few. We spent more time debating this name than the jurors debated the OJ case.
Oh god, yeah, probably.
Fact check that. That is true. They spent like 4 hours.
Get on that.
They spent 4 hours debating that, and we spent more time figuring out this name. But yeah, once it kind of hit, we were like, that sounds pretty good. And we kind of put it high on the list, and we're like, well, let's think a little bit more, but we just kind of kept going back to that.
Yeah, there was about 3 or 4 front runners including Omni Entertainment that that was like 2 months, 2-3, it was a month before we actually started the partnership. Because originally, 50/50 was its own channel, and I think our channel's still up. I need to take that down. That needs to come down. But
destroy the past, kill it if you have to.
Pretty much. And then Nick had his own production company, which formerly was known as A Child's Mind Production. And we're like, why are we working not necessarily against each other, but why not collab and come under one?
I like to think of it as it was like we were 2 motorcycles who had the ability to transform into a car.
Yeah.
Like, why are we both racing with 2 wheels when we could be racing with 4 and pass everyone with 2 wheels?
Exactly. We got to get more gas.
And yeah, because I know myself personally, it was just me answering to me. And I'm very, I can be a tough meanie to other people if I need to, but I'm very soft on myself. So I needed someone to boss around other than me, and B, someone to call me out when I needed to. And so that's one of the other reasons why I approached you. I was like, look, man, we need to, right now, it's like one of us is Iron Man and one of us is the Hulk. We need to Avengers team up this stuff right now. Like Iron Man, he could do some damage against Loki in the Avengers, but Iron Man and Thor is a lot more damage.
Way better, right. And from our standpoint,
I'm not comparing us to a billionaire and a god, by the way, either.
I wish. Question, which would you rather be? Billionaire or playboy philanthropist? Whatever his full title was.
I don't know. I'd rather be the god.
Really?
Well, yeah, you got lightning.
That'll come up later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. No, but from our standpoint, we were struggling to get viewers. As most of you know, this is an audio podcast, and our only platform for a long time was YouTube. It's a fail from the start from our standpoint. It's
running uphill on ice.
Yeah, all you guys see on YouTube is a static graphic, unless you pay for YouTube TV. Is that what it's called? Is that what they call it, or is it YouTube Plus or YouTube?
I think it's YouTube Premium.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, YouTube TV is a thing, but yeah, I think if you want to like close the app and listen, it's like premium.
And unless you want to have YouTube sit open for God knows how long our longest episode is, like 3 hours, I don't blame you for not watching, or listening. You're not even watching. You're looking at our graphic that's all over the place. So from our standpoint, it was like, all right, we need to reach an audience that is interested in our content, because sometimes our content does overlap. You have a very good audience reach. You engage a lot more people than we ever wish we could, and you just have a good following, and I think that's because you've ironed out a lot of this, because you've been doing this for a solid year.
When did because it was really Popcorn Bucket List was the flagship premiere show that came out. I think we released a pilot like September 2018.
Okay.
But it didn't become an annual thing till like fall 2019.
Yeah.
Because like we got caught up with a bunch of things in the spring. But yeah, it kind of started, I guess you would say 2019 is when it kind of happened. So it's been a little over a year now.
Right. And for us, like we've been doing this for like 8 months, but it took me like 6 months to get our first episode out. I think it came out in the middle of July, and we talked about Star Wars, which came out in January. So it took us a little bit to get off the starting block, and even for the first 10 meters, we struggled. I think we hit 7 viewers in the first 2 months with our first episode, and no, not 7. We did better than that. We hit 30.
Yeah.
By the 30 views after 2-3 months, and I think that was because I would listen to it repeatedly on my personal YouTube account, and Matt would listen to it personally, so we kind of buffed our stats that way. And that was after 2 months. And the other 3 episodes from season 1 did completely garbage. So from our standpoint, you had an audience reach that when you would post PBL and we would post 50-50, we were engaging those people that were subscribed to now Omni Entertainment, previously a Child's Mind production. So we were able to get those, and I would say a lot of your success comes from social media posting and getting people that know you personally and engaging with your content. Mm-hmm. I found a lot of success with that. I wouldn't say I've done like an experiment with it, but comparatively to when I would post about it to when I don't post about it, it does significantly worse, but it still does it does better than what we were doing on our own channel. So I am very happy that we did the team up collab Avengers style, because it is nice to have someone like you with similar knowledge.
And that was one of the other reasons why I approached you, because I think kind of with talking to you, since we were originally 2 separate channels, there were times where each of us wanted to ask each other for help, but we almost like didn't, because we thought we were bothering the other person, and it wasn't like, we were asking a favor for them to help on something totally separate from theirs. We didn't want to draw attention away from theirs. Mm-hmm. But then when we finally said, all right, let's just work together on this, then it no longer became, I don't think either of us have ever hesitated. Sorry for the mini stroke there. To ask each other for help, which was another big thing when I approached you about that too, which was just knowing that there's someone else out there that at the very least bounce an idea off of. Yeah. Get that second, third, fourth opinion, whatever.
Right. And that's knowing, and Kyle's kind of in a similar boat that you and I are, being a broadcasting major and understanding the tech and understanding what goes into it. With Matt, he brought a very, I don't even know how to describe it, like a super drive.
Oh yeah, his energy when we were doing some of these pitch meetings he gets
awesome. So into it. He loves it. Awesome. He loves this. I wish he was a broadcasting major. I know. He would bring such an enthusiasm and a drive to the program. It's crazy how much Matt brings. And not saying that Kyle doesn't. Kyle brings an amazing amount of energy. It's just he's a lot more quiet and stoic about it. He's like, yes, I like this. I like this a lot. Where Matt's like, yeah, let's get into it, yeah. And if you guys ever have met Matt or Kyle, that's 100% true. Yeah. So it's nice working with you, because we've worked together 5 years now.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a problem for us to bounce ideas off of each other or ask for help or get an opinion on something, being like, hey, what do you think about this and this for PBL or for 50-50? Like, what are your ideas on it? And I mean, I hope you don't sugarcoat it for me, because I usually just straight up be like, no, or I like that a lot. No, most of the time I'm like, I like that, because you have good ideas. But if you threw me a shitty idea, then I'd be like, maybe not, Nick.
That's the other thing. We worked with each other so much at this point. We not only know when to tell someone it's a bad idea, but kind of how to tell them it's a bad idea. Like, it's like me, you, and our buddy Ryan in Studio One, working with him too. One of the things I've noticed is every once in a while when we're working on a project with him, you can tell he doesn't like it, but he's such a nice guy. He doesn't want to ever admit it or say it because he thinks it'll offend someone. So he'll ask one of us, I think, on something and be like, I don't know, what do you think of this? And like, he doesn't, if you don't know him, his voice doesn't sound like he didn't like it, but like at a certain point you're like, he just needs someone else to say it for him. Yep. And that's sometimes I feel like how it is for us. Like, I know sometimes for me, it's like, I'm the same way where it's like, I think it's bad when I need, or I think it's not a good like idea or whatever, and I just need someone to hear someone else say it.
Right. Yeah. I've learned that sometimes you just got to tell them it's a bad idea, because then they put all this time and energy into it, and then you're like, it still looks like crap because you were doomed from the get-go. Yeah. And then they're like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, well, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Well, too bad. Feelings are hurt today.
Congratulations. I now lost 3 hours of sleep over that.
Oh, yeesh. But yeah, I just from sitting down with you and I also love rebranding. So that was really fun.
I know that's where you had a lot of fun too when we were starting off this thing.
Well, yeah, that's something. I mean, I picked up a graphic design minor, and I never realized how much I was going to eat. Sometimes I use it more than my broadcasting degree stuff. It's really weird how that honestly anchors me a little bit more than my minor anchors me more than my major ever does, because it's just crazy how much those two roles have flipped. But I mean, I learned a lot, and being able to apply it in real life scenarios like this is really, really fun for me, because I was the one that got to redesign the logo, and that was super cool. It still needs some work. I don't like it still. Or I like it, but it needs some tuning up. So, and just being able to hash out a good, solid name that we were like, okay, we don't have to redo this in 3 months. 3 months from now, we're not going to be like, I just don't like Omni Entertainment still. Like, you'd be like, maybe it'll grow on us. Yeah. Most of the time, if you have to say that, it's not going to grow on you. Yeah. There's a few instances where it works, but if you don't like it from the get-go, it's not solid. And
the other thing is when you say that, like, not only are you asking yourself to let it grow on you for 3 months, you're also asking your audience to see if it'll grow on them for 3 months. Right. And if you're asking them that, then
it's too late.
Yeah. It's kind of like that Tony Stark quote. If you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have had it in the first place. If you don't feel good about the idea, you shouldn't have had it in the first place.
No. That's why it took us so long, because we pitched a lot of ideas that were decent. Yeah. There were a few stink bombs.
A lot of them were me. A lot of them were just no filter, threw them out there. And as soon as I said, I was like, no. Even before you had a chance to say no, I was like, no. I'd be like, I don't know. I'd be like, Midwest Entertainment. No. Sometimes I wouldn't even finish it. I'd be like, no, that's not it. It's not it. I needed to hear it out loud. That's not it.
Yeah. No, it was good. It's been a solid. It's held me accountable, because there have been weeks where I'm like, oh, it's like Wednesday at 5, and I don't have all the music put in yet for our episode. I'm like, oh, but Nick needs me to get this done because it's our day, and if I don't get it done, then we look bad as a channel, and if we want to get popular like we want to and dream of, we need to be consistent. Yeah. We need to build a foundation. So that's what, it's not so much you telling me you need it done. It's just me knowing that you're relying on me. I'm like, I need to get this done for him because I respect you.
Yeah, but everyone else is like calling you on that. They're like picturing your phone right now with like 20 texts from me. Just for like, Mitch, it's not up yet. Get it done. Be up.
When's it scheduled?
Buddy, look, hey.
buddy.
I don't want to tell you how to do your job here. It's just like 20 separate texts of that.
Jeez. Yeah.
But yeah, we're kind of we've kind of hit a stride now.
Yeah, I would say we're making content. We're keeping consistent on content.
Yeah, our main first goal was just getting out weekly as much as we could each week, and sometimes those have been challenges. I've pulled some all-nighters,
which I commend you for, because I can't do the all-nighter thing anymore. Yeah. Last year was my real last year of pulling all-nighters, and my body can't handle that anymore.
I didn't say my body did not like me for that. But there was definitely a few where I was like, I could just get like an hour of sleep before I have to get going or something like that. And okay, so the worst one, quick story. This is my battle story, my all-nighter this one time. My schedule in life right now is pretty consistently, I only have stuff going on in the afternoon, later evening time. I rarely have anything going on in the morning. There was one day, I think it was an episode of Peek Behind the Curtain, I can't remember which one, where like just because of scheduling, we couldn't get it recorded till like that Tuesday. Episode was supposed to go up that next day, Wednesday. So I'm spending like all day editing it. I just went all night editing it too. And this was like the one time I had to do an early morning shoot for Studio One. First of all, they very rarely have any early morning shoots right now, to be honest. But it happened to land, I think it was on Veterans Day or Memorial Day, whichever was the one in like early November. Veterans Day. And so both the full-time guys had to have the day off. Well, I'm a part-time guy, and they wanted someone to record there was like a memorial going on in one of the parks.
Oh, yeah.
And this was an early morning shoot. And so I was like, on a normal day, I'd be able to like go to bed at like 6, go and sleep till noon, get a good 6 hours at least.
Yep.
Nope, I had to be going at like 8 that day.
I remember.
And so I was
like,
all right, it's like 6 o'clock now. The episode is done. If I go to sleep now, there is no way I'm getting up at 8. It's just not happening. Nope. So I just stayed up for another few hours.
Oh God.
And yeah, I think Election Day was like the day before or that next week or something like that. But
yeah, that
was a rough couple days.
I would imagine. I remember you telling me you were stayed up all night. I'm like, Nick, bro, you gotta like. I don't think I could have helped you, but you got to let us know. Don't do that. Oh.
But yeah, we kept that. That was early on too, where I was just like really focusing on let's just make the first goal of getting it out weekly. Mm-hmm. And so far so good. I think we've kept that streak going since then.
Yeah. There was one time you had to text me and be like, "Hey, how's the episode coming along?"
Oh. Yeah, that little fiasco. I think I'm thinking of the same week as you.
What happened exactly? I can't remember.
I
just remember you texting me. I'm like, I'm working on it. I'm getting it there.
So, or no, I might be thinking of a different week. I was thinking of the one week where like it was going to be a peek behind the curtain episode. This is a different peek behind the curtain episode.
Yep.
And then COVID started spiking again.
Yep.
So I was originally going to do an in-studio interview. But then because it was spiking again, I wanted to like give the talent the option, like, do you want to do it remotely? Mm-hmm. They wanted to do it remotely, which I get. It's crazy times right now.
Yep.
It's just safer that way. And I was like, all right, I'm going to need like a week to make sure that this works and test and everything. So we had established a backup video, I think, that I had like at the last minute asked you for.
That's right. We were gonna do so. Yeah, it was basically my senior project.
Yeah,
we were gonna pump that out, and I started to work on like, because it's done, and like from an academic standpoint, it worked. It showed that I learned stuff.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of the senior project.
Yep.
Show us that you learned stuff.
Yep.
Just show it.
And so then I was like pushing peek behind the curtain a week, and I think we had talked before that, and we didn't intend to use that as our backup as soon as we did, but I was like, hey. Do you think you can get this out Wednesday? And it was very last minute. I gave you maybe 48 hours.
Yeah.
And stuff came up for you.
Yep.
And stuff came up for me. And so like Tuesday night, I think.
Yep.
All of a sudden we were texting like, okay, so we have no video for Wednesday. And because of another conflict, it was just a crazy early week. We had no video for 50/50.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
Yep.
And I threw those ideas at you, and we agreed on them. It worked. And yeah, they weren't the prettiest.
It was a first hurdle.
That was one of those weeks where we're like, all right, we kind of used our one extra life in the video game that we didn't even know we had.
Yep. We're like, oh God, like,
we
don't die?
Looking back on the video we ended up posting for that 50/50, which was like a promo video.
It was a promo.
Because you had just figured out Spotify, I think, right? Like a week or 2 weeks before that.
Yep.
Which I know was a big thing for you guys.
Oh, gosh.
So I wanted to get it out there because we knew YouTube was not the best home for this show.
No, it's not.
And so we wanted to make sure, hey, people, you have an option if you prefer to do this.
Yep.
And so we came up with the idea of, okay, I'm going to throw together some like 30, 45-second promo to say, hey, it's also on Spotify. Go check it out there.
Yep.
And looking back on it, that would have been such a good extra life to have just in general. And then we were like, it was literally like if you were in a video game and you died and all of a sudden it showed you had an extra life and you're like, I didn't know I had this. Now I've lost it.
Time to restart.
Time to restart. And so we were like, at the end of that week, we're like, that was crazy. So let's figure out some other backup plans so we know we have extra lives. And that was a huge learning moment for all of us, I think.
Yeah. I think just Omni Entertainment as a whole was like just busy. You were doing Peek Behind the Curtain. I think Jado was in the middle of filming.
That was one of the big things.
I think that's what not caused, but like that was an influence on a lot of the problems.
Because it's not like we weren't doing anything for the channel. I think it was on the set of Jado, texting you, writing in my notes, brainstorming that promo.
Yep.
While I'm helping Ryan with this film project.
Yep.
Which ended up great for us in the long run.
Yeah, it was.
Do we want to talk about our biggest success on the channel so far?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Because I got a funny story with that one too. You joked earlier about early 50/50 episodes, how you were rewatching some of them to bump up views.
Yep.
I remember at one point, this is like a few days after we posted, and it's doing way better than any of our stuff has done so far. Yeah, yep. At this point so far. And there was one afternoon I was in the studio with the director, our good friend Ryan, and it was at 199 views, and I really wanted to be at 200. And like every half an hour I would check it, and nothing. It wouldn't gain one. It didn't gain one. And I was like, I just want to click it just to give it that 200th view. And I almost did. I was like, that's going to steal all the satisfaction, though.
That's true.
And it was like, and one of the reasons I wanted to be there with Ryan when it got it, to be like this cool moment, like, hey, man, we did it, 200 views. You know, to a lot of YouTubers, that's not a lot. But to us, we're small potatoes. It's a big deal for us. Yep. And it was like 5 minutes after I left the studio. Oh, like, no. I left the studio and went to my other part-time cleaning job. I just quick check it before I started cleaning. I was like, it just hit 200. I was like, you couldn't have, whoever watched that on if you're listening, whoever watched that on like a Wednesday night a week ago at like 5:15 p.m., you couldn't have done it like 15 minutes sooner. That's all I'm asking.
I actually, with Jado Assist Story, we have quite a few friends that are, Kyle and I have Kyle, Matt, and I, all three of us have a lot of mutual friends that are big into Star Wars. So we did, after we did Ryan was able to get us not a red carpet, but kind of a red carpet experience.
Oh, like a red carpet for us.
Yeah, it did. It was pretty cool. Like,
I thought about wearing a suit to that premiere.
Yeah. It deserved it, to be honest. I wish I would have. But we got to watch it in a movie theater. And it was good for the movie theater because everyone was good about buying popcorn and pop from them, which is always...
Support your local theaters.
Exactly. Support your local theaters. Right now, it seems overpriced, but, you know, you got to make exceptions because, you know, once they get full-time business again, you know, maybe think about dropping those prices, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, we showed up, bought stuff, watched the movie. It was a good time. Really enjoyed it. And I can't remember. I think it was the next night. Kyle, Brandon, and I were talking about it. And we're like, yeah, it was really, really good. We like this scene. We wish this could have been better, blah, 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 blah. Because from my standpoint, I honestly didn't have that much with it. The only association I have with Jado is the Omni Entertainment side of it. Kyle is in it, Brandon's in it, and you obviously helped Ryan direct.
I was a PA.
Okay.
Person. I was just an assistant.
Okay.
Director. I don't know what to call it.
Director of photography. That's a good title.
We'll call it that.
That's a good title. That's always a good title to have. I don't remember what he put you in the credits as. He showed him the credits quite a bit.
I think he said assistant director, although I really didn't. I was just kind of carrying the tripod around.
People didn't know.
But yeah. We were. I think we were both labeled as producers on it or something like that.
Right, and yeah. So my attachment to it was pretty distant. Not that I didn't want to be a part of it or anything. There was no need for me to be a part of it, and I couldn't commit the time to it. So being able to show up and watch it as an Omni Entertainment producer was pretty cool. That was awesome. And then we were gloating about it to our friends, and we're like, well, do you want to watch it? So I may have logged into Omni Entertainment. Do you remember that? Do you remember that night? I was like, hey, do you know how to, can you check your phone? Yeah, that was that. I was trying to, and then I figured it out.
Because I looked at the analytics. There was like one view, and I like looked at the date, and that was like before it was posted. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I remembered you mentioned. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a smaller viewing party for all of our friends, and they liked it too. I felt a little bad because I'm like, oh man, I'm stealing views. But at the same time, we're like, they're really close friends with all three, Brandon, Kyle, and I. And like I said, I didn't have as much association, but Kyle and Brandon were in it, very important roles. So it was good for them to watch it. They liked certain parts of it. They thought certain other parts needed work, but their opinion doesn't matter. It does, but it doesn't. Well,
and the whole experience was kind of another reason why I approached you about this channel, which was because we have other friends, colleagues who like video and doing stuff. It just kind of also is just a home for them to put stuff on there.
Yep.
It was something early on that was like, hey, you would just be on some random site or whatever beforehand, but I was like, if we have friends who want to do stuff, and we have friends who want to do stuff,
yep,
it gives them a little access. It gives us a reason to put someone else on the channel.
Yep,
fill in those weeks and everything.
Fill in that awkward Wednesday that we sometimes have.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a real fun experience. It was a real great milestone for us. I think it's up to like
it's like 340.
Is it really?
I can check. I'll have one of our interns check it. Marcus, go check it.
Emmanuel, where's that coffee?
He gets really mad if you got to tell him before the show, Nick.
Oh,
he's really good about it. Don't get mad at Emmanuel.
Okay. I'm in on the joke now. I did it. Did I do the running gag right?
Yes, you did.
Yay!
I love that. Oh no, it isn't 340. I added 100 just because.
I'm only off by like 100.
Yeah, it's up to 243 now.
Yeah.
Which the trailer's only got 34, which is surprising.
I don't get our viewers sometimes. I try to figure out the math on this sometimes, and I just don't get it.
Well, okay. So, like, just from a 50-50 standpoint, when we started posting on here, hold on. So we had 55 with our first, and then I mass uploaded, which I didn't expect anyone to really watch those. Then you did the promo, which got 9. And then we had 3 for one episode, and then 5 for the next. Oh, no, nice. We're up to 12 for our latest episode.
Yeah, the latest one's doing not bad. For YouTube, at least.
Yeah,
you guys, ever since you did move to Spotify, like, a lot of that audience has moved over to Spotify.
Yeah.
And so now just kind of putting it on YouTube has just kind of been a formality. It's also kind of been more for me because I don't have Spotify.
Yeah, and I don't know. I also like showing off the graphic I made because
It's a good graphic.
I really like that. Yeah.
It's a good graphic.
I was proud of that. That's why
compare that to most of the Popcorn Bucket List and Peek Behind the Curtain graphics, and you'll know who's been working on which show for graphic styles.
It's a niche thing. It's a niche.
Mine suck. You can say it. It's just not good. It's basic.
Okay, they suck. I'll say it. Damn it, I don't want to, but I'll say it.
I'll say it for you. That's the point of the partnership. One of us won't say it's bad, the other one will.
True. But yeah, Jado's been really, really successful. I'm really glad that Ryan was able to make that and make it so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you were able to help him. I'm glad other like partners of 50/50 were able to help him. And like moving forward for like another project we have going right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say how much do we want to tease this?
Oh, we can tease it just a little bit.
We can tease a little bit.
It involves Matt and Kyle.
Yep,
which is good. It involves Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon unfortunately wasn't able to be a part of this one. We originally slated him in, but he just he has to make money somewhere. Because this stuff doesn't make him any money.
Doesn't make it. Don't say it like that. It sounds like we're making money off of this.
It makes none of us money.
This is a serious hobby, and the most exact definition is that sounds.
It's a hardcore hobby.
In that we're putting enough hours that you would think it would make us money, but it's not.
It doesn't. So, support our Patreon. Because I have to plug the Patreon because Matt's not here.
But if my mom asks, it's making us money, and that'll calm her nerves.
Okay.
But yeah, so we do. Yeah, we're hoping to get more film-ish short film projects like that, because I know for me that's just something I want to do more. And working with you guys, it kind of gave me more access to people, and crew especially too.
That's the worst part about film, and we've talked about that before. As
hard as casting is, and casting can be hard, and it's not necessarily finding the people, it's scheduling them.
Yep.
You can come up with a dream team roster of actors, but figuring out when 5 people all have a 3-hour block of free time,
forget it.
Unless you're paying them, you don't even try.
Nope.
But yeah, we do hopefully have another short film coming up here right before Christmas. It's kind of Christmas related. It's a lot of fun. Yep. It's an idea apparently I've had for months, and I didn't remember I had it for months.
Yeah, I brought it up. I was telling because someone saw us filming it, and they asked me, they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Oh, we're doing this." Blank idea we have.
I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, we're not gonna give it away. But they're like, "Didn't you bring that up like in the spring semester?"
Yeah, I totally forgot. I pitched that to them like over almost a year ago.
Yeah, well, I was like, "Yeah, we're doing blah 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 idea," and they were like, "Finally, you're doing it." I was like, "What do you mean, finally?"
In our defense, everything shut down in March. So true. If I pitched it before that.
I was so confused. I was like, what are you talking about? Finally, we came up with this idea in September.
The earliest I thought I had spoken it out loud was, September. Late September, early October when I pitched it to the rest of you guys. That's when I thought I had finally said it out loud.
Yeah.
But then you brought that story. I'm like, did I tell you about this way back then? Has that been in pre-production for that long?
It's like 50-50 season 1. It just sat there and was like, we're waiting.
Whenever you're ready.
We're ready to go.
Yeah. But yeah, finally got off the ground. We filmed it. So yeah, look forward to that next week right before Christmas, the 23rd, I believe.
Yeah, and unfortunately for 50-50, we'll see how things go in the next couple days. We may or may not be getting content. This may be our last episode for the season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah, I think if this is the last episode, I think this is episode 12 of season 2. So total of 16.
Nice.
We've done. Yeah. It's been a long journey, as we've talked about.
Well, one thing I've always respected with you guys is like a lot of the shows we do Wednesday. Like, if any of them are annual, it's Popcorn Bucket List and Peek Behind the Curtain. And those are both monthly. Yep. You guys do one a week of that show. And it's easier for me to be like, I'll have 3 weeks to prepare for one episode of Peek Behind the Curtain. You guys have that 1 week to keep coming up with something new each time.
It does something. Oh my gosh. I wish you could sit down on some of our pre-production meetings or the 30 seconds before we go record. As I should say, pre-production meeting. I make it sound so official, like we actually try. I'll message the group at 5 or 4 o'clock while I'm still at work. I'm like, hey, we're recording tonight, right? This will be like Tuesday afternoon. I'll be like, hey, we're still recording, right? And we'll get a yup and a yup. I'm like, sweet, that's good. We're all gonna be there. That's awesome. Good to hear.
In guy language, that means, yep, totally, we're gonna be there, and I'm confirming my appointment, all that sort of stuff. It just isn't as sophisticated.
Nope, it's just a yup, which is straight to the point. I appreciate it. And then we show up. Usually one of us is late. It's consistently been all 3 of us at different times. Like 1 week it'll be me, next week it'll be Matt, week after that it'll be Kyle. Matt's pretty good about getting here on time. Usually Matt's the one
he's got the punctuality record right now.
Yeah, he does by far. By far. But no, we'll show up and then we'll sit down at the table and we'll be like, so what are we gonna talk about, guys? And we'll be like, oh, we could talk about this. We're like, let's talk about something else. We can talk about this. Ooh, I like that. Let's think a little bit longer though. And we'll finally come up with, and as soon as all 3 of us are like, yes, then that's usually what we go with. And I try so hard to be like, all right, guys, we actually need to come up with our ideas before we show up. Before we're actually at the table, we need to know what we're talking about so we can research a little bit and actually try on this. Mm-hmm. But that never happens. That's why it's a hobby right now and not a professional thing.
Serious hobby.
Yes. But
take that as you will.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting though. where we started and where we're at and where we're going. I know I can't speak for Peek Behind the Curtain or Popcorn Bucket List, but moving forward, 50/50 has a lot of aspiration and goals. I won't get into them because I don't want to ruin it for y'all. But it's very exciting. Me, Kyle, and Matt have all talked about it, and it's very into it. Very, very into it. A lot of things are going to change for the better, and it'll be good.
Yeah, I like where we're at now. I think it's not been a skyrocketing improvement, but I've seen improvement, I think, across the board.
Well, we don't want to be like Icarus and fly too close to the sun. We don't want to. We don't want to get YouTube famous and then drop off the face of the earth. Like that happens a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll slow build.
I like this. I like the slow build.
Yeah, we'll be PewDiePie. You know, PewDiePie's not around anymore, but you know, we'll keep a consistent audience for like a solid 5 years.
Yeah, but he's not around anymore because he can afford not to be. That's my end goal.
Oh yeah, true.
Just
true.
My end goal is to be rich enough that I don't have to be the thing I want. I am anymore. I don't know if any of that sentence made sense. You can cut that if you want.
Oh, I think I'm gonna keep it. Power of editing. No, but I think this is a good place to stop. We're gonna take a break. It won't be too long for you guys, obviously. Me and Nick, I don't know. We've never taken. This is the first time that Matt and Kyle haven't been here for an episode, so this will be interesting how this dynamic works. But for you guys, we'll be right back. For us, who knows? And we're back. We just did an intense, insanely manly workout.
90 minutes, P90X.
P90X.
All strength building.
All arms, no legs, because skip leg day.
And if you believe that, let me tell you another one.
No, I'm just kidding. We didn't do that.
I think we had them. They were going to buy it, man. What if we
I just told them how we went to Arby's and they were closed and we were bummed, so we went to Taco Bell. Do you really think they believe?
We're turning over a new leaf.
Oh, God.
We're starting our New Year's resolutions early.
Hey, that's a good plan. You should always do that.
I've actually, not to get us too off topic right off the gate, but I actually do start my New Year's resolution early because I think it's stupid that people are like, I'm going to be a better person and I'm only going to start after this day. I'm like, okay, if you need to acknowledge the fact that you need to be a better person, then you're by definition a bad person. Yep. And you shouldn't have to wait for a certain day to start doing that. You should do it. Just start now. There's nothing that says you can't start now. So I don't know. I like New Year's Eve, like as a concept, like it's a new year, but like New Year's resolutions kind of bother me. Yeah. I try to, past couple of years I haven't made mine. I'm just like, same goal that like sophomore high school year Mitch tries doing. Yeah. And it just keeps overlaying and like, I should work on that. I should work on that. Anyway, not to get too off topic like you said. My New Year's resolution is to not get us off topic as much anymore. How am I doing? Pretty good, actually. Pretty darn good. No. So in the second half, normally we talk about D&D because normally me, Kyle, and Matt are all in the same D&D campaign, and there was some pretty cool stuff that happened that past Sunday, but they're not here to talk about it with me, and you obviously weren't there. If you were, I was not there. That would be amazing, because that means you're playing D&D now, but you're not, so boo on that. Boo. Sorry. I just remembered the old lady from The Princess Bride. In that one part where she's like, bow down to the false queen, boo, boo. I'm just picturing her yelling at me now, and it's kind of cool. I don't like that you think I'm an old lady. No, I'm not calling you an old lady. I'm just saying that old lady from that scene. I'm picturing her booing me now. Gotcha. Okay. That hurts a little less. Well, I would hope it would hurt a lot less, because I'm straight up not calling you an old lady. I've been called worse, though. Yeah, that's true. Haven't we all? Anyways, what we're going to talk about
This topic is we both know pretty well. Well, kind of before when we were pre-production meeting this 30 seconds before we started recording.
I'd like to say I helped break the chain of the 30-second before we recorded pre-production meeting.
I did call you, and I was like,
yeah,
hey.
You called me 30 minutes before.
And I'm like, hey, look, I need some help. Can you help me? And you're like, yeah, what are you talking about? Because I'm not going to talk about D&D. I'm like, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's not that I don't want to talk about D&D. It's just I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's okay. I don't know very much about it either.
And you play it.
I know.
What chance do I have?
That's why I understand. Trust me. I normally be like, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And then I'm
you'll
like,
pick it up as we go along.
I've been playing for over a year now, and it's like, is it weird for a half elf to like Dragonborn people? That's weird, I guess. I don't know. I only say that because I did that in session, and now people are like, Mitch, what the heck? Do you have a fetish? No. No.
So what are we talking about, Mitch? Have we even said it yet?
No, we've been hang them by their throats on what we're going to be talking about.
That's not saying, I don't think.
What we're going to be talking about. We have to let Nick not die.
I'm good.
Okay. What we're going to talk about is the new Disney Marvel release, specifically Marvel. We can talk about everything that Disney Plus released.
There was a lot.
Oh my god! I saw the graphic. I'm like, oh god! I don't even want to look into it.
Yeah. So yeah, there was it's called Disney Investors Day, I believe. This is a yearly thing. It's basically like Disney's Comic-Con.
Yep.
They've kind of been teasing their own actual Comic-Con for a while, but this is Disney's Comic-Con where they're they release trailers, they announce an official lineup for all their investors, but they send it out to the public and everything too. Kevin Feige comes out and does a Steve Jobs thing in front of a monitor, all that sort of stuff. And it just was, I'd totally forgotten that it was the day that it was, and so I would check on Twitter every 30 minutes. I'd scroll and there'd be 20 new trailers or announcements and everything, from Star Wars to Marvel to Pixar, the Disney animation stuff, all their live action reboots.
Actually, was that the Lightyear thing? Was that a part of that?
Yes, that's a Disney animation thing specifically.
Okay. I didn't know. I saw that and I was like, that's weird.
No, that was Pixar. The Pixar's doing that.
Okay, just Pixar?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean
Disney owns
they're
Pixar.
essentially the same company, but it's still different projects will go to different ones.
It's like Omni
so
Entertainment and 50/50 and PBL.
Yeah, it's kind of how that was for a little bit there. It's basically the same thing, but for some reason, two different people are handling it.
Weird.
I don't know why, but yeah. But yeah, a lot of trailers. We saw some first footage from things we hadn't seen before. We saw new footage from things we had seen before. I was trying to keep up as much as I could. I kind of lost track on where Star Wars was. Oof. I know they're mainly focusing on Disney Plus original series, which I get, considering how The Mandalorian's been doing recently, especially. Right. It's been working well for them.
Right. There's been a couple times I almost want to sit down and actually watch The Mandalorian, but I can't because I have committed to other items to watch. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to break that because there's so much that I have to watch yet.
I get that.
And I actually haven't seen any episodes of The Mandalorian, season 1 or 2. So I've heard it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And based on what I've heard, because I'm not one to steer clear of spoilers, just because that's so much work.
It's hard to nowadays too.
Especially with social media.
Season 1, people were pretty good at not posting spoilers until the 5th episode. But
at that point, you should be watching it.
Yeah, but this season, I have noticed it's harder because I usually don't get to it right away, and a lot of people will wait till the 3 o'clock in the morning when it drops and watch it right away.
I know.
So that morning, they'll kind of it's getting harder to avoid spoilers on that and everything. But I'm hoping they kind of, at least if they do focus on more of these limited series or these short series and driving away from movies. I'd they still are doing some Star Wars movies, but if they are going to do the TV streaming service model, I hope they do what they have been doing with The Mandalorian, which is they've been fairly short, compact episodes.
Yep.
And they've been short run seasons. So like Mandalorian was only like 8 episodes, which when you compile it together is basically just a movie.
Yeah.
If you really add it all together.
Right. Because each episode's only like a half hour, right? It's a normal TV episode.
The first season, like the average was about 20 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay.
They were really easy to go through.
Okay.
This season, it starts off around 40. Most of them have leveled out to around 30 minutes. But yeah, it's like if you take that first season and compile it together, it's pretty much about a 2-hour length movie, I think, give or take. 2 hour, 2.5 hour. But I know one of the other big Star Wars announcements, Patty Jenkins, I believe, is directing a Star Wars movie.
Oh, wow. I
don't think there's a lot of information as far as what that's going to be. But I'm pretty interested in that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I like Star Wars. I think I had this conversation with you the other day. I really like what The Mandalorian is doing, specifically with like talking about intertwining the prequels. And I only like the prequels. Don't hate me too much, world, but I like the prequels for the Anakin storyline, specifically the scene with Obi-Wan and when he says, "I hate you." It's such a great scene. Such a great scene. And I know a lot of people are like, that's a weird scene to really like. Because it's the fall of Anakin and the start of Darth Vader. But yeah. What Disney has done with all of its animated series, like with the Clone Wars and what it's done with The Mandalorian now and all this other stuff, it's really cool to see how impactful. There was an episode we talked about Kylo Ren's story arc and how good that is through that trilogy. It's
probably one of the only good, consistent things throughout all those 3 movies.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
Yep. On a previous episode, we all agree that that was the one good thing that came out of that. But if you look at like the Anakin to Darth Vader arc as like a whole, it's really, really intriguing for me. It's like, wow. Because he interacts with people he interacted with as Anakin. There was granted, it's a TikTok, but they did a really good job putting it together. There's a scene in the Clone Wars where, and if I say this wrong, I apologize, but
Ahsoka Tano?
Basically Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah, Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano. Okay, so there's basically a scene where Ahsoka Tano...
Tano. I'm just getting into it because I know it's going to annoy you.
In the Clone Wars, she comes across Darth Vader and like...
you're talking about Rebels.
Maybe it is Rebels.
Yeah, because Clone Wars takes place before he becomes Darth Vader. So yeah, you're talking about an episode from Rebels.
Rebels. Yep. Which where she comes across him and she's like, she addresses him as Anakin, and she's like, Anakin, like, you're better than this, you're stronger than this, or something along that line. I can't quote it directly and accurately, but basically, Darth Vader was Anakin's dead. He was weak. I'm better. I'm stronger. And Ahsoka Tano.
Not even close.
Ahsoka
Tano. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it 100% right, but I'm like at 90%, whereas you were at like 70, maybe 75.
It's fine. They're gonna rip shreds anyway. So we, sorry, train of thought just derailed. Basically, she says to Darth Vader, I'll avenge Anakin. Mm-hmm. And Darth Vader starts saying, revenge isn't, and then it shifts to Anakin from, I'm guessing earlier on in the series, saying, revenge isn't the Jedi way. And it's just so cool, and it just shows like how strong Darth Vader is. I never realized how strong this dude is, based on like, because they would take cutscenes from a video game, and they would movies and everything, and just like it was a TikTok to be like showing people Darth Vader who don't know Star Wars. This is Darth Vader, And I watched another video about Darth Vader and a cutscene in a video game, and they did a bunch of math based on like gravity and water pressure and all this stuff. And this dude with his force can hold close, I could be quoting this wrong, but like close to 1 million pounds.
Well,
based on like water pressure,
mass and size.
Yeah.
Supposedly doesn't matter with the Force, although sometimes George Lucas has gone back on those rules himself.
Yeah, it's George Lucas. Have you read his writing?
Yeah, I don't. All I'm saying is, in Empire, Yoda is talking about how size does not matter, but then in like Attack of the Clones, he's like struggling to hold a pillar. And I'm like, you lifted a starship like 20 years after this. Yeah. How are you? What is happening?
Right. So it's really cool to have specific. Going back to the TikTok, it's like it encapsulates like what Anakin used to be and what Darth Vader is, and it's just really, really cool. And that I think is the start of like me really appreciating and really wanting to get into the Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. I'm working on watching Critical Role, and it's a real doozy to get through. I'm on episode like 78, but they're like 4 hours long, and there's 115 total for the campaign one. And I told myself, I'm like, gotta finish campaign 1, then Mandalorian. So it's a weird thing, but I want to get it done, and I'm really excited for the Mandalorian. It makes me want to watch it even more.
You know what's interesting? I'm kind of doing the math in my head. The first season of The Mandalorian, if you watch straight through, I think would take less time than your 4-hour Critical Role.
Probably.
Because it's 8 episodes, like 20 minutes an episode. So like 6 episodes to 2 hours. It's 2.5 hours.
I know.
You can cut that if you want. I just did the math in my head there.
No, it's fine. Oh God, it's so hard. I really love Critical Role, and when like I sit down, like some nights I fall asleep to it, and I'll get like 3 hours through, and it seems like no time has passed. So the compliments to them, but it's just like I need to finish this so I can watch The Mandalorian season 1 and season 2, so I can appreciate the prequels just a little bit more.
Well, and The Mandalorian takes place after Return of the Jedi, I think, as well.
Okay.
But it is... So, like, the first season, the thing that I loved so much about the first season is it really doesn't reference any of the external Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Like, I think if I hadn't been told where it takes place in the timeline, I don't think there's really anything in there that says specifically where it's at. This second season is a little bit more diving into the expanded universe and everything. But...
That's what I was going to say. I was like...
It does reference some Clone Wars stuff. It references some Rebels stuff, especially the second season. It hasn't really gotten into... Like, I don't think they've really name-dropped anyone from the original trilogy, and I kind of hope it keeps going that way.
Right.
Because I know... Well, I won't talk about that, but... gotta catch up to The Mandalorian, because not only is... there's a lot of new Star Wars shows coming.
Yeah, no kidding.
One of them being Kenobi, which, talking about Darth Vader, I think it was just announced a couple days ago. Hayden Christensen's coming back as Darth Vader.
I'm excited.
I'm optimistically curious about this. Okay, so I'm worried. Something worries me about this. Because in episode 4, the first like official Star Wars movie, it's, in my mind, implied that when Darth Vader and Obi-Wan meet there on the Death Star, that's the first time they've met since the battle on Mustafar. That's the implication I got, the feeling I got.
Yep. Was
that, like, Darth Vader has been waiting for this. So he probably even got to the point where he gave up hope that he was ever going to run into him again.
Right.
Or I think there's even a line earlier on where he's like, he mentions, he's like, I think I feel Obi-Wan's presence. Some guy's like, oh, man, he's probably, like, dead by now, dude. I can't remember if that's exactly in that movie or not, but he always kind of held out hope that that would be the rematch. There hasn't been any, he's been waiting like, I don't know, it's like 20 years, I think, in between those movies for that moment.
Yep.
So I'm worried. I really hope they don't actually confront each other on this series, because to me, then that robs that moment.
Well, you know what I could see them doing is, I feel like Obi-Wan.
That's his last name.
Yeah,
you can call him Kenobi.
That works.
Yeah.
I feel like Kenobi and Darth Maul. Also, that relationship really intrigues me.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they're going to explore that quite a bit. I know they do.
That's another thing in Rebels, I think.
I think
Maul and Kenobi rematch in Rebels.
Yeah, I think they might try to. I would hope they might explore that a little bit more in depth.
And I'm pretty sure this takes, from what I've read, this show is going to take place before Rebels. I think.
Okay.
I'll have to double check on that, but I think it takes. I can't remember how far in between.
Okay.
It does, but I think it's in between that episode 3, episode 4 thing.
Okay.
But I do agree with you on one thing. I'm actually kind of excited to see Hayden Christensen come back because I know he got a lot of flack for his acting in that, at least from some people.
I think
I'm
that was
kind of one of them.
Oh, really? I like.
I don't think it's not a great performance, man. It's not a great performance. Revenge of the Sith maybe has moments, but I am curious to see him do this character with a different director. Because I'm assuming George Lucas isn't going to come back to direct any of these episodes.
I hope not. Okay, to give people a little bit of
context, he does, we'll all be screaming, I hate you!
Yeah, we will. To give you guys a little bit of perspective on why I hate George Lucas so much, it's not because, like, he really successful with the first 3 Star Wars movies. Like, great, you did great. You know, it was the 70s, right? It was the 70s?
First 80s? One came out in 77, and then the second one was 1980, the third one was 1983.
Okay, so
late 70s. The fact that I know that, but it takes me a while to remember what the Pythagorean theorem is.
That's sad.
It's not my proudest moment.
No, but you know, for all the Star Wars fans out, they're proud of you.
Yeah.
Yay!
I did it.
No, but so like, great job. You did great in the 80s. Like, you know, it's great. Good job. And then you made the prequels, and you know, I had to do a scene to help actually Kyle out. We did a scene as a, I forget what class it was for, but he just needed,
it was for narrative film.
It was narrative film. So basically, Kyle needed to write a script and make a scene, just because COVID had hit, and the class was like, just do this to show me that you can do this.
Let me know you can point a camera and direct.
Yeah, basically, that's what happened. And Kyle did a good job.
Which, like, if we had that option when we took narrative film.
God, I wish.
It's like, I'm looking at him doing this one scene, I'm like, I didn't sleep for a week.
Yep. No, so he did the scene, and it worked really well. He had me, he casted me as Anakin, and a buddy of ours as Obi-Wan. And we both did it. It was good, it was fun. I really, really struggled with the lines.
You did. I remember that now.
I wanted to murder George Lucas because, and I quote, if you're not with me, the line should go, if you're not with me, you're against me. That's not how it goes. That's not, no. If you're not with me, you're my enemy? What the? I want to murder you, George Lucas. We had to take that specific line like 15 times because I couldn't get it.
I remember that now.
Kyle wanted to murder me.
Oh my God.
He's like, Mitch, it has to be the exact line.
I wanted to hit you with that boom mic.
I don't blame you, but also, like, okay, I didn't have the lines completely memorized, and as an actor, I can ab-lib, so especially with a line like that, that's easy to ab-lib. If you're not with me, you're against me. That's how most directors have it written.
I guarantee you a lot of people wanted to ab-lib, but then George Lucas was like, no, it should be this way. And then the second they would, like, try to, like, comfort you, he was like, well, I wrote the original trilogy. And then they're like, well, they all thought he was weird when he did the first one, so.
Yeah.
I think there was actually, like, a story one time where, like, when he made the first one, and before it was premiered, he like showed it to all his director friends. So like Coppola was in there, and like Spielberg was, and a whole bunch of other people. And like at the end, he was like, "So what do you guys think?" He's like, "A lot of them were like, yeah, it'll do pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not like they hated it, but they didn't think it was going to be a big thing." I think the story goes only Spielberg was the one who was like, "Oh, that's going to be big."
Well, of course,
which of course it was Spielberg.
Of course, so, of course.
If you're talking about blockbusters, who do you want as opinion, Coppola or Spielberg? I'll take Coppola when it comes to lighting or something like that. But
nah, it's just that's why I hate Lucas so much. There was other lines, but that one took a really long time.
Sandman. George Lucas had some thoughts on sand.
Ugh, sand.
Both Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman deserve Oscars for getting through that scene without breaking. At the very least, a Golden Globe.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So Disney, a lot of Star Wars stuff. We just scratched the surface on that. Yeah. I looked more at the Marvel stuff, I would say.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to look at really any of it. I know it's been a while since like they released Loki, Winter's.
Yeah, so Loki got its first full-length trailer. Before this, we only had like one clip.
Yep.
That was in like a mashup. Because like there are other projects, but the three main ones that Disney Plus is like pushing right now for the MCU is WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki.
Yep.
And just to kind of give you my progression of interest for these three, when all three were announced, no context, Loki was one I was highest on. Falcon Winter Soldier was one I was like, all right. And then WandaVision, I was like, well, maybe. Just because I hadn't seen anything from Wanda as a character in these movies.
Yep. And
then the first footage came out. And WandaVision went right to the top.
Yep.
Loki was still a close second. Because merely for the fact that Tom Hiddleston was coming back.
Yep.
He was one of those things that no matter what you think of any of the Thor movies, he's one of the better things consistently in them.
Yep.
And then Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of like
dropped to the bottom.
But it wasn't far down to the bottom. It was a pretty tight race. And then I saw these recent trailers. WandaVision pulled its lead ahead. Loki, still pretty close, but WandaVision's pulling ahead. Falcon and Winter Soldier blew a tire, I think, exiting the corner. And they're in the pits right now. They're not lapped yet, but it's any moment now.
Yep.
I don't care about Winter Soldier. I just don't care about him.
Yeah.
Any potential they had for that character, they wasted really early on.
Right. They make him out to be... He takes a back seat early, and just as I think when he had his moment in the driver's seat, he was brainwashed, and he was the antagonist.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he flipped to being a good guy, they just shoved him in Wakanda and said,
yeah, exactly.
Here.
They sidelined him so hard when it would have been... Because at the end of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, we see Bucky like going through the museum. He's still not... I would have taken in a whole other scene of him just walking through that museum.
Yep.
I wanted to see him try and figure out more. And even like or even have like a scene in Captain America: Civil War where he's like, I saw the museum. I saw my face there. I still don't remember it. I don't remember you. I don't know who I can trust.
Yep.
But like they fight Bucky once and he's immediately simpatico with everyone on Captain America's side. Meanwhile, Tony wants to kill him because he killed his parents while they were brainwashed. Like, I get it. He killed your parents, but does that count? It's not like he did it on purpose. He was brainwashed.
He killed his dad.
He was more heartbroken about the mom, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not saying I wouldn't be mad, but I'd be like, bro, just get out of my face for a minute. I can't look at you right now, but like, I get you're brainwashed. He was brainwashed. It doesn't really.
Also, it's Tony Stark.
Yeah, he does think a lot. He is pretty hot-headed. That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
But the other reason why, to me, this other show kind of blew a tire was because the other two shows look like they're actually trying to do something new to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. WandaVision is doing this interesting, like, oh, we're going through like old TV kind of.
Yep.
That
really
spoof,
intrigued me.
But like, yeah, it's like it was like a Bewitched thing, and they're actually going to explore more of Wanda's powers, which is another wasted opportunity so far.
They're redeeming it though.
What was that?
They're redeeming it though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
and that's my point. They're actually like diving into it, because from everything I've read about her in the comics, what we've seen so far is just scratching the surface.
Yep.
With her. Loki, again, Tom Hiddleston's going to be great. You should check out that trailer because there is kind of a cool moment in it that I don't want to spoil. But Falcon and Winter Soldier just looked like the same MCU action movie. Like, you could have taken a lot of those clips and just interspliced them in Captain America: Civil War, and I probably wouldn't have known the difference.
That's sad. Not from your standpoint, from our
No,
standpoint.
yeah, exactly. It's like it just feels like that's the one they're putting the least effort in. And so I'm going to put the least interest in.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten a chance to look at really any of the content, unfortunately. It looks good, and like the main three, WandaVision, Loki, and Winter. What's it called?
It's like Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon Winter. That's sad that I can't even name the title.
And but the title is the two lead characters.
That just is confusing. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Oh, but I guess WandaVision is.
And Loki.
Oh. Man, they have a theme, and they kept it consistent.
Can you imagine that pitch meeting where they're like, all right, so what do we call these things? And one was like, WandaVision. Hey, that's actually kind of creative, right? Yeah, it is kind of creative. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, so we got this Loki show. What should we call that? Loki. Brilliant. All right, take it home. Third one. What do you got? Creative minds here. Well, okay, so we got the Falcon, yeah. And the Winter Soldier's in it, yeah. Falcon, Winter Soldier.
Trash, get it out of here. No, we love it. We love it.
I'm just kidding, Jerry the intern. Get it, you're promoted.
Oh, man.
You now get Kevin Feige's coffee instead of mine.
Oh, dude, I wish I had that job. I would make sure not to mess up his coffee.
Oh, God, yeah. That'd be high pressure, though.
Yeah,
because if you mess up his coffee and he's passed out by noon and next thing you know it, Marvel Phase 4 goes down the toilet because he forgot to send the email or something like that.
That would be something.
And we're without Marvel movies for like 3 years.
And it's all on the internet.
And then DC rises like a phoenix.
That's what you want.
And that is when we strike.
Snyder Cut, baby.
And that's when I remove my mask and I was Jerry the intern and I sabotaged Marvel and DC rose.
Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
Marvel, DC's never going to catch up.
No.
This is the other thing that I think is interesting about this new Disney lineup. Every time they've announced something or they've tried something new, I've always been worried, is this going to be a thing that they finally falter on? They've proved me wrong every time.
Pretty solid.
So with both Star Wars and Marvel now kind of moving to these Disney Plus shows, this is kind of the new thing again. I'm like, is this going to be where it finally falters? Is this going to be where they trip and fall?
If statistics teach you anything, Nick, don't
exactly.
bet on it.
If history is doomed to repeat itself,
which it normally does.
Yeah. But this could be that hot hand fallacy that I've heard talked about where it's like in basketball where supposedly like if a guy keeps shooting and he keeps making it, people just assume if this thing has happened for as long as it is, it's going to just keep happening.
That's true.
I don't know. At some point, there's got to be something that they're going to do that's finally going to.
It'll be Falcon Winter Soldier.
It'll be Falcon Winter Soldier.
Not Loki or WandaVision. They'll be super successful.
Yeah, they probably will be. But yeah, that's kind of the Marvel stuff right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. So, thank you for everyone tuning in. Unfortunately, we don't have our full array of Kyle's and Matt's here to really head it home. This is usually Matt's job.
I could have tried doing a Matt and Kyle impression the whole time if you wanted to.
No,
okay.
No. I like having you here. It's fun. This is fun. It's for the audience. I don't normally do this. See, I'm doing the work of Matt and Kyle.
Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, no kidding. I have to sit at the board. I have to do the intros and outros. Normally, I just sit there. This is their jobs. I'm just the guy that was like, yeah, we can do a podcast.
I walked up to your mic setup, and you were like, why aren't you sitting over there? I'm like, oh, I just assumed you pulled rank on this one, and you almost made me host it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
Makes sense.
My bad. I probably should take.
I pulled what's usually your mic to me, and you're like, why are you taking my mic, bro?
Yeah. It wasn't mine. It was his. But yeah.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Anyway, yeah, wrap it up. Happy holidays. Travel safe. Don't get big sick. What else? We're going to see if we can try to keep getting content out. No guarantees, though.
He's right. Don't get sick, but you should watch The Big Sick. It's a good movie.
No, Nick.
No, it's an actual movie. Like, it's a good movie.
Big Sick is what Matt calls COVID.
Oh, I'm talking about the movie with Kamal Nanjiani, but whatever. You should watch that. It's a good movie.
Nick, no. Matt doesn't like
I'm going to recommend that on Popcorn Bucket List now.
God.
I'm just going to be like, watch The Big Sick.
No, Matt doesn't like calling it COVID, so he calls it The Big Sick.
Well, you just called it COVID.
I know. He's not here, though.
No rules. The lunatics are out of the asylum.
But yeah, for a third time, please have a happy holidays. I can't wait to see you guys in the next year under our new season. This is 50-50 Take It Lead It. Oh my God.
Take 4. Just end it. Just end it. End the suffering.
We'll see you in the next one.